The day the decimal point moved over. Something that I just remembered from my time as a blue vest cashier. Something went very wrong in the computer system that affected all baked goods. Simply put, when you scanned any baked good, whether it be a regular or checkout, the decimal point on the price moved over one's space to the right. So, instead of your box of 2 donuts coming up as a $1.99, it would come up as $19.90. Not sure how many people went through the checkout with large orders that included a pack of donuts or pastry and didn't notice. Once I realized what was going on, it wasn't terrible to fix, but it had to be manually done for everyone. Every single bakery item. They had their own barcodes, so they didn't have it in the quick lookup menu. We had to scan each item with a handheld scanner to see what it was being set at, then manually type in each item and price. The system made you type a description every time you did this, so slow. I felt really sorry for those who accidentally paid 10x the price. This wasn't the first time this kind of thing happened. For a while, all steak rang up as filet mignon regardless of the actual item and charged accordingly.
That time I got to see Captain America save the day. I used to work retail at a mom-and-pop costume store. We had this family who were regular customers and would come in every year and pick out a themed Halloween costumes as a family. This particular year, they said the theme was the Avengers. They had a son who was about 4 or 5 at the time. He chose to be Captain America and they picked out his costume first. A little while later, he comes running back up to the cash wrap, in full costume, brandishing a phone. He told me he had found it on the floor and he had to protect it because phones are very important. He asked me if I could help him find who it belonged to. So I made an announcement asking if anybody was missing a phone, but to no avail. At that point, I asked him to give me the phone and told him I would hold onto it until someone came back for it. He looked at me skeptically and flat out refused to hand it over at first. He explained to me how phones have all kinds of important things on them and that they aren't toys. I had to give him my solemn word that I would take good care of the phone before he would hand it over. I sent him back to his parents after that. About 10 minutes later, the phone started ringing and I noticed that the screen said home, so I answered it. It was of course the customer looking for her phone. I told her where she could find it and that I'd hold onto it for her. Another 15 minutes or so after that, the woman came into the store asking for the phone. I asked if she was in a hurry. She looked a little confused but said that she wasn't. So I asked her to hold on for just a moment. I went back and found the little Captain America, still in costume because once you get a little kid into them, it's impossible to get them out again, and asked him if he would like to return the phone to its owner. He gleefully said yes. So I handed him the phone and we walked back up to front together. He presented the woman with her phone and explained to her that he had found it and taken good care of it because he knew how important phones were. The woman thanked him profusely. He gave her a sharp salute and then ran off back to his parents. At this point, the woman turned to me and said, "That might be the cutest thing I have ever seen. Seriously, you don't know how much I needed that. It's been a day." I told her it was no problem, and I was glad she got the phone back.
Scratch cards. A group of workers from another company came by my till today. The first guy in the line is a scratch card addict who will come in regularly throughout any given day to purchase £5 tickets and will of course spend any winnings on more tickets. There are many such cases. On this particular day, he has already been in a couple of times. He and the second guy both buy a couple of £5 tickets and go to wait outside for the third man. The third man comes up to my till. My colleagues convinced me to buy one of these, but do people actually win? Me, I'm sometimes H, but not often. Me, no, not often H. It's a waste of money then. That's what I thought. Me, basically yes. Don't make it a habit. So you purchased one ticket and then left. Later in the shift he comes back to redeem the card having won £25. This was the worst possible outcome. He predictably came back throughout the day to purchase more tickets, eventually negating his winnings and losing a further £15 to boot. I hope he learned his lesson, but I honestly doubt it. All this to say, I hate scratch cards with a passion.
Your logic chopping is impressive, but the rules aren't changing. I had a customer come in to pick up a package, but the address on his ID didn't match the one on the label. So I asked him for something with his current address or the tracking number. The following conversation happened. Customer gestures to the notice that was left on his door. What about that? Me. Sorry. Doesn't count. Someone who just happens to share your name could show us that and we wouldn't know the difference, so we could end up giving your package to the wrong person if we accepted that customer's first and last name were both very common. Customer, can I show you a piece of mail with my address? Me. Sure. We accept bills that are in your name. Customer, well, couldn't this same person steal my mail and still claim to be me? Sorry, I have to logic chop this sort of thing. Me. Your logic chopping is impressive, but I'm not releasing the package if I'm not convinced that it's for you. Customer complains about no one wanting to help people and just kicking the problem to someone else who will do the same thing while looking for something with his address. The customer did eventually show me something that satisfied the rules and I released the package. I will never understand the people who get so upset when we make them prove that a package is actually for them.
Would you like me to help with that? No, many years ago. And I still admire the sheer balls on this customer. Pity about the rest of him though. In the mid-00s, at the beginning of the academic year, we were selling wireless USB dongles more than any other single item. Each year as the new cohort arrived, we'd sell dozens upon dozens of them. Just one model we knew were rock solid and never had any problems with. Customer buys one of these, asks a few questions, and we say basically plug it in and install the software. Simple, apparently not. He brings it back the next day. Customer, hey, I need a refund on this. It doesn't work. Me, what's wrong with it? Customer, you said it should just work. It doesn't. Me, What happens when you try it? Customer, nothing. It doesn't work. Me, you plugged it in and installed the software, right? Customer, yeah, did all that. Me, okay. One sec, I try one of our computers. Plug it in. Install software. Works immediately. I turn the monitor round for him to see. Me, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it. Here it is working just fine. Customer, well, it didn't work for me or my flatmate, and he's a computer science student. Me, okay. Well, I've demonstrated that this does work. There's no problem with the dongle itself. I point again to the screen, showing a good connection. Can you try it again? He's not too happy, but I've shown him the fault isn't with the dongle. Off he goes. Until the next day, he's back again. Customer, I've tried it again, and it still doesn't work. I want a refund. Me, it does work. As you saw, it may be a problem with your computer. If you bring it in, we could have a look. Customer, I'm not hauling my desktop all the way here. Just give me a refund. Me, if it isn't faulty, I can offer you a partial refund. Customer, that's ridiculous. I want a full refund. Me, I've proved the dongle works. I've offered to help you with your computer, and you declined. If you want a refund on non-faulty items, it's a partial refund. I posted another story earlier this week if you want to know more about that. I won't repeat it all here. Customer, that's unacceptable. Even my flatmate gave it a go, and he's studying computing. If he can't get it to work, there must be something wrong with it. Me, there isn't. I showed you yesterday. You saw for yourself. Customer, how do I know you haven't done something to your computer to make it work? Me, by bringing me yours to try it on, as I offered. Customer, I can't be bothered with all that. Me, okay. Customer, me, if you change your mind, you know where to find us. On his way he goes again, and back this way he comes. Customer, I want a refund. We tried it again, and it still doesn't work. If even a computer science student can't manage it, it's obviously broken. Me, you already know it works, and the offer of looking at it on your computer is still open. Customer, I shouldn't have to do all that. It should just work. Me, and it does, just not on your PC, which we can help you with if you let me. Customer, my flatmate studying computer science couldn't even get it to work. Me, I'd kinda stop saying that honestly. Customer, what? Why? Me, you're kinda just embarrassing him at this point. He's studying computing, and he can't get this working. We've sold hundreds of these, dozens just this week. No one has brought any back. Customer, IT doesn't work. Me, and I've offered to help you. I still am. Off he pops again. Until the next day. Customer, I've come to give you one last chance to do the right thing. And I just burst out laughing. Uncontrolled peals of laughter right in his face.
The customer would like dirt. I used to be a cashier at a place that sold gardening supplies. We sold really big bags of soil, and most of the time, when a customer was getting those, they would tell us what kind of soil they wanted and how many bags they wanted, and we would just look it up in the system. After we rang them up, they would go and get them, or someone would help them get it. If someone was getting 30 bags, which people often did when they were doing big projects, it made more sense to pay and then load. This one day, I'm out in the gardening section and this woman comes up. She's buying some other stuff and she asks for 7 bags of the dirt. Now, if you're into gardening, or if you've ever worked at a gardening store, you will know that there are about 1 million kinds of dirt. There is not just dirt. We have topsoil, garden soil, potting mix, soil for specific types of plants, fancy soil that costs more, soil with fertilizer, big bags, little bags, different brands, etc. If I looked up soil in my computer, dozens of products would come up. So I asked her which one she wanted and she just said whichever one is the cheapest. I really had no idea what to do here. I was staring at all of the kinds of soil we had on my screen. I didn't know what she was using this soil for, so I didn't know what one I should stick her with. Let me put it this way in case you're not getting why this is frustrating. Imagine if a person walked into a restaurant that serves several kinds of sandwiches, sat down, and told the waiter I want a sandwich. And when the waiter asked what kind of sandwich they wanted, if they wanted a grilled cheese, or a turkey sandwich, or a veggie sandwich, they just said, I don't know, any sandwich. Whichever one is the cheapest. Not to mention, if I just gave her some random bag, how would she even know which one to load into her car? It was a little busier that day, so I just gave her the most generic kind of topsoil without asking more questions and sent her on her way. Hope she didn't need garden soil. It was just an odd and frustrating moment. Any other time someone came in to buy soil, they could tell me the exact one they wanted.